Hello. Excuse the potato quality of this microphone. Welcome to Link's Flying Machine pilot training, where I will be going over how to effectively fly minecarts thrown on top of one another. I will show you how to set up, take off, accelerate, and turn with ease. You've likely seen the use of this flying machine before, and if your attempts at it looked like this, then I can help. Before we get into flying, let's go over what you will need to be ready for the skies. There are quite a few elemental forces that can be a pain and outright end your flight prematurely. Notably, it is freezing cold almost all over the map if you go high enough, which you will likely be doing. In order for Link to be safe in all possible scenarios, he would need 2 cold resistance, 2 flame guard, 1 lightning proof, and in the rare cases of traveling through the Grotto Desert during the daytime, 2 heat resistance. We can't have all of that at once, of course, so I developed my ideal pilot's outfit. Flamebreaker boots for +1 flame guard, warm doublet for +1 cold resistance, thunder helm for being lightning proof, and a flame weapon for another +1 cold resistance. Alternatively, you could use a lit torch on your back for a good 2 cold resistance if you are taking off from Death Mountain. However, it will go out if you ever unsheath it, or if you happen to find yourself in the rain. You may not have the means to protect yourself from everything, limiting you from going to certain areas, heights, or flying in certain weathers. Or you might find yourself changing outfits, eating a bunch of food to combat damage taken, or drinking different elixirs, often depending on the situation. That's okay, as long as you're prepared. Now that you're prepared for this, guys, let's find a ride. There are 10 minecarts in all of Hyrule. 2 found in Hyrule Castle, and the rest all on Death Mountain. Since you'll be needing 2 of them, let's go over the convenient routes to construct a flying machine. Hyrule Castle's route is long and inconvenient. However, if you insist on making the flying machine there, start by heading to the Sas Kosa Shrine if you have it unlocked. From there, you'll take this long and pretty annoying route. The rest of the minecarts aren't as tedious to bring together. For these 2, head to Daka Ko Shrine, and then follow the road west. For this group, head to Shoraha Shrine and ride the rails down to the first stop. And for the last 2 groups, head to Shei Mosa Shrine right next to Goron City. And either take the minecart on top of the hill and head a little north, or take the minecart on the hill and ride it down the railway. Now that you have 2 minecarts, let's go over how to properly set up the flying machine. You can't just slap one minecart onto the other and expect a stable flight. There's a specific method for putting the minecarts together to ensure a stable takeoff and flight. When putting together a flying machine, you will want one minecart to be on a generally flat and stable ground. Take the other minecart and face it perpendicular to the grounded one. When placing the minecart on top of the other, you will want to set it down on the wall of the back ridge until the bottom minecart faces upwards, ending up at a 45-degree angle and the top minecart being flat. This setup should make for a surprisingly stable flying machine. Before a flight, make sure you have the aim with motion controls in the game options set to off. Otherwise it can lead to some unintentional and dramatic movements if you move your controller. Additionally, as good practice, set HUD mode to normal and set your map marker for where you intend to be flying to. It's helpful to know exactly the angle you must fly in to get there. Now are we ready to start flying around gracefully? No. No, we are not. Bear with me, please. When attempting with no further knowledge, you'll still find yourself with a dysfunctional machine. The knowledge we're missing is that Link's position on the minecart matters a whole bunch. Generally, we will want to keep Link centered on the minecart. However, you will want to move Link around a bit during certain actions or potential malfunctions of the flying machine. And here's how that works. Moving the flying machine around with the right analog stick will either adjust Link's position on the aircraft or tilt the top minecart up or downwards, resulting in the flying machine deconstructing itself. What we need to do is adjust Link's position during the flight to negate these changes. When lifting the machine upwards, the top minecart will want to tilt upwards. To compensate for that tilt, you should have Link position himself more to the front. Use his weight to counteract the force, if you will. When lowering the machine, the top minecart will try to tilt downwards. Positioning Link more to the back will counteract this. When moving the machine right, Link will begin to slide to the left. In order to keep balance and control, you should constantly nudge Link to the right, back to the center. When moving the machine left, Link will slide to the right, and therefore you should nudge him slightly left back into the center. Accelerating by holding up on the directional pad will push Link back a bit, so you should nudge him forward back into the center when this happens. Conversely, deaccelerating by letting go of up on the directional pad will push Link forward, so likewise you should recenter him by nudging him back. Even if a malfunction develops that is no fault of your own, knowing this can allow you to save your flying machine from falling apart mid-flight by putting Link in all the right places to counteract the dramatic movement. To be able to accelerate and change direction, you may want to grip your controller like so, and try to be minimal when turning the minecart and nudging Link. The last thing I need to note is recovery. You should find it easy to start the flying machine back up if you lose and drop it over some land, though you might think it is lost for good when dropped over some water, lava, or mud. Don't give up just yet when that happens. It is possible to save the minecarts as long as they haven't sunk too deep for magnesis to be able to reach them. And that's it! With some practice, you should be an ace of the skies on Breath of the Wild, and fly anywhere you like, except over Korok Forest. Don't do that. Thanks for watching. The reason I made this tutorial is not only because there wasn't any other good ones I knew of explaining this in depth, but also because you Wii U players will need to know how to fly to do what's in store for the next video. It'll be a bit more interesting. I think anyway.